Ladies and gentlemen, I am back here on the Big Fight Field channel this week. I am back from a short hiatus. I tried to film last night's Monday Night Raw video here on the channel, but for some reason my storage was acting very weird. It stopped 3 times every 3 minutes, so I'm like, you know what? I can't deal with this. I'm just not going to do a Raw review tonight, and I'm going to call it a night. I don't think people will get that mad because that show last night was freaking boring. But we're here to talk about NFL Week 2 predictions here on the Big Fight Field channel. We had Week 1 last week. A crazy Week 1. Lots of upsets. Lots of disappointments from me, from the Dolphins and Dallas. And Week 2. We got Week 2 predictions here today on the channel. I'm going to give you guys some bold predictions. Some bold predictions this week that you guys are not going to believe. So strap yourselves in. Have a good time. Let's talk some football for Week 2 right here on the Big Fight Field channel. And last week's Week 1 predictions got 131 views, which I did not expect whatsoever, considering I barely do sports videos on here. But the fact that I got 131 views on that video for Week 1, I want to thank you guys so much for that. It really means a lot to me. And you guys are going to get more NFL content here on the Big Fight Field channel. Let's talk Thursday Night Football. Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns. Now, last week, the Browns lost miserably. They lost miserably to the Baltimore Ravens, 38-6. That was a terrible game by them. And the Chargers spoiled Joe Burrow's season debut by Randy Bullock missing a 31-yard field goal to tie the game. The Chargers won that game 16-13 over the Bengals. But for Thursday Night Football and the Ohio battle between the Bengals and the Browns, I am going a bounce-back week for the Cleveland Browns. I think they get this one very closely with a strong fourth quarter and a strong performance by Baker Mayfield. I'm calling for the Browns to win 22-21 over the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys should have absolutely won last week. They should have won. Mike McCarthy was a moron calling to go for it on 4th and 3 at the Rams' 13-yard line instead of kicking a field goal and tying the game, and they don't get the 4th down conversion. That costed them the game. I don't care what anybody says. That's how they cost the game. Dak Prescott didn't even play that bad on Sunday night. Zeke Elliott looked like Zeke Elliott. The defense didn't look so good. Even though they only gave up 20 points, it felt like they gave up 30. But they lost 20-17. This is a big game for the Dallas Cowboys, in my opinion, this week. I do think they're going to get this win over the Falcons. It's not going to be tough, though. The Falcons, they have a good offense. I think this is going to be a tight game. Not going to be a blowout by any means. I'm looking forward to this game a lot. It's not the game I'm looking forward to the most this week, but I think the Dallas Cowboys will pull this one out 24-16 at AT&T Stadium. Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers. I don't really have much to say about this. Aaron Rodgers looked amazing. If anybody doubted Aaron Rodgers last week and during the season, I think you're a fool. He fooled us last week. He put on an outstanding performance against the Vikings with a 43-34 victory. But the Detroit Lions blew a 23-6 lead in the fourth quarter, and they lost. They lost to the Chicago Bears 27-23, and DeAndre Swift dropped a touchdown at the end of the game to lose the game. But for this one, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'll be close, but I think the Packers are going to have control of this game, and I think they're going to take the W in this one, 27-17 over the Lions. Minnesota Vikings, Indianapolis Colts. This was a tough one to pick. I'm not going to lie. This was a tough game to pick. Now, the Colts they got upset by the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-20 last week at Jacksonville Stadium. I don't remember the stadium off the top of my head, but they lost their top running back, Marlon Mack, to a torn Achilles for the rest of the season. So that's going to hurt. Now steps in Nyheim Hines. He's going to have to play a big role in that offense for the Indianapolis Colts. And the Minnesota Vikings defense got trounced. They got demolished last week by Aaron Rodgers. Now, this is a pretty difficult game to pick, and some of you guys might consider this an upset, but I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts to get the victory over the Vikings in a game-winning field goal, 23-20 over the Vikings. We got the Buffalo Bills versus my Miami Dolphins. Now, I thought the Dolphins were going to win last week, but they did not. They lost 21-11 to Cam Newton and the Patriots, who people are already calling an MVP season for Cam Newton, and I'll talk about that when we get to the Sunday night game. I'm going to shut the haters. I'm going to shut the Cam Newton, cocksuckers up. Okay? I felt confident about the Dolphins game last week. This week, not so much. The Buffalo Bills are a dangerous team, and they showed us last week against the New York Jets with an incredible first half, 21-3 at halftime. They ended up winning 27-17 over the Jets, but the Buffalo Bills have a dangerous offense with the likes of Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Stephon Diggs, and John Brown, and they also got Cole Beasley. So they have a really good offense, and they have a great defense, in my opinion. This week, I'm not so confident about the Dolphins. I don't think they're going to get this one. I honestly think they're going to lose this week, and it's going to be a big loss. I'm going 31-13 Buffalo over the Dolphins already. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel about this game. I don't feel good about facing the Bills. San Francisco 49ers versus the Jets. I don't really have to explain myself on this one. Jets suck. Okay, they're just horrible. Sam Darnold is not their guy for the future. I'm telling you right now. And Adam Gase is not their coach of the future. San Francisco, they lost to the Cardinals last week. The Cardinals are a solid team, so I don't really consider that an upset, to be honest. But 49ers, they're going to bounce back. They're going to be fine. They'll still make the playoffs. They'll get a top seed, and they're going to smoke the Jets this week, 28-9. Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a big game. Last week, the Eagles lost to a football team with no name, the Washington football team. They had a 17-0 lead over the Washington football team, and they blew it. They absolutely blew it last week against the Washington football team, and they looked horrible. And I told all the group chats that I'm in on Twitter, I was like, I think we can all agree that after this loss today that the Eagles suck. And the Eagles do suck. They have some huge problems right now. And it's not Carson Wentz's fault. I don't know whose fault it is, but it's not Carson Wentz's fault. And they got to get their stuff together to have a solid season and compete with the Cowboys. Because I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys are going to win the division this year. They're going to win the division. They're going to beat the Eagles twice, the way the Eagles are playing. This week, I don't think I'm confident enough to pick the Eagles. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think they're going to pull it out. And I think Carson Wentz will have over 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, but still lose 24-17 to the Los Angeles Rams. Denver Broncos versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I did not watch not either of their games last night, but I watched Steelers highlights this morning. They looked great last night against the Giants. They looked great. Big Ben looked on it like he was on his game, and they won 26-16 over the Giants last night. And in a solid game, 26-10. But this week they're in Pittsburgh. I know there's no fans, but they're on fire after Monday night. I hate the Steelers so much with all my guts. I cannot stand them, but I was very impressed with their game last night. And I'm going to pick them with this week beating the Broncos 29-17 against the Broncos. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers versus Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers. Tom Brady, he was off against the Saints. People were saying, oh, Tom Brady's washed up. Tom Brady's going to retire soon. He doesn't have it in him anymore. I expected this to happen. There was no preseason this year. There's no film. I kind of expected this to happen. And it's okay. You're going to get those duds in the first week. Get them out of the way now. Because you can't have them later in the season. So if Tom Brady's going to have a dud, he got it out of the way. And I think this week in Tampa against the Panthers, I think they rebound and they have a strong performance. And they get the win over the Panthers this week, 23-7. So I'm going with a strong performance from the Tampa Bay defense. And they get a 23-7 victory over Carolina. Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. Jacksonville won this week. Good for them. Excuse me. But I feel like this is a one-hit wonder. This isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to go far for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not going to do that much, but this is not their week. Going up against the Tennessee Titans, I don't think they're going to get the victory. And they're going to lose this one. And a blowout to the Titans, 34-13. Titans over Jacksonville. Big game from Ryan Tannehill on Sunday. I'm calling it right now. New York Giants versus the Chicago Bears. Kevin Garcia, bona fide Heat, versus Gamer's Goon. Shout out to both of them. Their teams are going up against each other. The Giants looked atrocious last night in the second and third quarter against the Steelers. Chicago came back from a 23-6 deficit and they won. Saquon Barkley only had 6 yards against the Steelers. And I think he's going to struggle again this week against the Bears. He's not going to do much. And I actually see a big victory for the Bears this week in Chicago. 30-9. 30-9 against the Giants. I think Mitch Trubisky has a big game this week against the Giants. Gets himself a 3-touchdown victory. And they go 2-0 the first 2 weeks. Got the Washington football team versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals beating the 49ers last week. Did I expect it to happen? No. Am I surprised it happened? No. Cliff Kingsbury's a very good coach. Kyler Murray is playing very well right now. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got Kenyon Drake. They got Christian Kirk. They got some good guys on the offense. With this offense, if they could put up some points every week, some decent amount of points, I can see the Cardinals making the playoffs this year, man. I can really see them making at least a shot for the wild card. And that could be pretty cool for the Cardinals this year. And Kyler Murray, considering it's his second year this year. But for this game, it'll be close. I'm not going to call a blowout here, but I am very confident that the Cardinals will beat the Washington football team by a score of 31-19. Now let's move on to the biggest game of the week. The biggest game of the week is the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. Lamar versus DeShaun Watson. Next week we got Lamar versus Patrick Mahomes. which is going to be absolutely big on Monday Night Football. So do not expect me to review Monday Night Raw, the Raw after Conference Champions, because I'm watching the Chiefs and Ravens. No way am I missing that game. But this is a big game this week for the Houston Texans. They did not look good on this season opener against the Chiefs. Yes, I know it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I know it's Patrick Mahomes. But I expected a competitive game. I mean, Christ, they went into Kansas City last year in the regular season and they won. They won that game. And they were down, I believe, 31-7 in the fourth quarter. And I didn't want that. That's not good at all. I expected a good football game, and they got blown out. And honestly, I think this matchup with Lamar Jackson is going to be tougher than the matchup against Patrick Mahomes. Because quite frankly, I think Lamar Jackson is better than Patrick Mahomes. This is a big game for the Ravens and also for the Houston Texans. And as much as I want to pick the Texans and DeShaun Watson to get that upset over the Baltimore Ravens, I just can't. I can't do it, man. I cannot do it. I gotta go with the Ravens here on the big game this week, 24-14 against the Texans. Kansas City Chiefs going to SoFi Stadium. That's a stadium I love, by the way. I saw that on Sunday night. I love SoFi Stadium. I would love to get in there one day, hopefully. But they're going to SoFi Stadium to face the Los Angeles Chargers. And quite frankly, I don't think the Chargers stand a chance in this one. This is their home opener. This is their big game. They got a victory last week in Cincinnati. Good for them. But I do not see Tyrod Taylor standing up to the same standards as Patrick Mahomes. I don't see it happening. I think this is going to be a big blowout for the Kansas City Chiefs. And a big game for Patrick Mahomes before they go to Baltimore on Monday Night Football for Week 3. Final score, Kansas City 41, Los Angeles Chargers 12. 41-12. That's what I'm calling for. Sunday Night Football. We got Cam Newton and the New England Patriots versus Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Now let me talk about Cam Newton for a second before I get into the prediction. Did Cam play good against the Dolphins? Yes. Did he play great against the Dolphins? No. Is Cam Newton going to be the MVP this year? Hell no. Hell no. All the guy can do is run. All he has is his feet. He doesn't have that good of an arm. He's got a decent arm, but he's better on the legs. And quite frankly, teams are gonna find it sooner rather than later. And they're gonna know the game plan for Cam Newton sooner rather than later. And teams are gonna get to know how to play the Patriots and how to play the Patriots offense. And I think Seattle is going to figure that out this week. Cam Newton not going to have that good of a game that he did against the Dolphins. This is going to be close. This is going to be low scoring in my opinion. Very low scoring. And the Seattle Seahawks get the victory on Sunday Night Football 16-13. And then with the final game on Monday Night Football, we got the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the New Orleans Saints. And this is my big upset, folks. This is my big upset. Raiders opening up the new home stadium. I heard it's better than SoFi. So I'm really interested to see that. Derek Carr and the Raiders played excellent last week against the Carolina Panthers on offense with a 34-30 victory, while the Saints got a 34-23 victory over Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. But this is my upset of the week. I am going with the Las Vegas Raiders to defeat Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football, 28-24 in a big game by Josh Jacobs. He played great last week against the Panthers. He carries that momentum. The offense carries their momentum, and they beat the Saints on Monday Night Football. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the NFL Week 2 predictions here on the channel. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel. We got AEW tomorrow night. Big show tomorrow night. We got possibly NXT on Thursday. I'll let you guys know. More than likely, it'll be on Thursday night. SmackDown on Friday. This week, I was going to do the 200 subscriber Q&A, but next week is going to be no football video because next week is Clash of Champions weekend, and I'll have my eyes set on Clash of Champions, even though I'm not really looking forward to the show. So next Tuesday will be the 200 subscriber Q&A video right here on the Big Fight Field channel. So you guys can look forward to that, and I will see you guys tomorrow night for the AEW Dynamite review right here on the Big Fight Field channel. And thank you to everybody who tuned in to the Week 2 NFL predictions. Have a good day and stay safe.